Alright folks, welcome back to the channel. If you weren't able to get boots on the ground at SHOT Show 2025, you might have missed something pretty huge, a quiet but significant revolution brewing in the rimfire world. This year, the major players have really stepped up, unveiling some of the most impressive advancements in .22 long rifle that we've seen in a very long time. We're talking about everything from whisper-quiet subsonics, engineered for true stealth, all the way up to scorching fast hypervelocity loads that push the performance envelope of this venerable little cartridge. Whether you're a serious weekend plinker, a demanding small game hunter, or one of those shooters who loves to wring every last bit of potential out of their rimfire setup, the class of 2025 has something designed specifically for your needs. In this full-bore breakdown, we're going to take a close look at the latest .22 long rifle loads hitting the market, analyze what truly sets them apart, and help you decide which ones are worth stacking deep in your ammo locker. Remington Performance Wheel Gun. Modernizing the classic, one of the most noteworthy debuts this year comes straight from Remington, with their new Performance Wheel Gun 22. Introduced right there at SHOT Show, let me be clear, this is not just a rebox of the old Golden Bullet. It's a ground-up evolution built for modern performance. Remington has rolled out a series of significant technical upgrades aimed squarely at improving reliability and consistency across the incredibly vast landscape of rimfire platforms out there. Among the key changes are a completely redesigned primer compound for more dependable ignition every single time, a reinforced brass casing and rim structure to better handle the stresses of various actions, and an updated casehead profile designed to better retain that absolutely crucial primer material. These enhancements are a direct response to the common cycling and ignition failures that have historically plagued shooters across different firearms, from classic hammer-fired pistols to the popular modern .22 caliber AR variants. Performance and accuracy. Now, let's look at the chronograph numbers. The performance data is certainly promising. The 40-grain version is clocking in at an average of 1,248 feet per second in 50-yard tests. The lighter 38-grain load steps it up to around 1,340 feet per second. However, it's worth noting that the standard deviations for both loads did exceed 20 feet per second. In my experience, that points to some lingering variability in the powder charge or priming process, and that's something Remington needs to tighten up. On the other hand, accuracy has seen a major improvement, with groups tightening up by nearly half an inch compared to the older Golden Bullet at the same distance. That is a solid step forward. Look, Remington is still playing catch-up to the high standards set by top-tier competitors, like CCI, and premium European brands like SK or Aguila. If you're chasing match-grade, one-hole accuracy, this round probably isn't going to get you there. But for shooters looking for dependable, affordable ammunition for casual target practice, or for general-purpose use in firearms that aren't overly finicky, the Performance Wheel Gun could be a very worthwhile option. Remington's effort to modernize its rimfire lineup shows real promise, and if they can tighten up that consistency and refine their bullet plating, this could eventually become a serious contender in the .22 long rifle space. CCI Suppressor Max. Stealth and Terminal Ballistics. If you've been on the hunt for a .22 long rifle round purpose-built for suppressed shooting, CCI's new Suppressor Max is a name you absolutely need to know. This round is engineered from the ground up to operate at a stealthy subsonic velocity of roughly 970 feet per second. This keeps it well below the sound barrier, effectively eliminating that sharp supersonic crack and keeping the noise signature to an absolute minimum, which is exactly what you demand in a quality suppressor-compatible load. The projectile here is a 45-grain segmenting hollow point, designed to break into 3 distinct parts upon impact. This makes it an outstanding performer for pest control or small game hunting, where a fast, humane dispatch is the top priority, and you need that terminal effectiveness, field performance, and practicality. In practical use, these rounds truly live up to their name. They are impressively quiet, they group consistently, and they deliver more terminal energy than you might expect from a subsonic round. They're especially useful if you're shooting in suburban or noise-sensitive areas, like my own backyard range where every decibel matters. When you pair the Suppressor Max with a quality suppressor, the report is a soft, whisper-like sound that keeps your shooting session incredibly low profile. Another major advantage I've found is their reliability. These cartridges tend to cycle dependably, even in semi-automatic firearms, which is a common failure point for many subsonic loads that lack sufficient power. Whether you're running a rimfire pistol or a semi-auto rifle, this ammo typically feeds and ejects without a single issue. Now, CCI does charge a premium for this level of specialized performance. It's certainly pricier than your standard bulk bricks. But if you are serious about quiet shooting, or if your backyard range sessions need to stay neighbor-friendly, that extra cost is likely well worth the investment. The segmenting bullet also provides more consistent terminal results on small game, especially when compared to traditional solid-point subsonics. Of course, if you rarely shoot suppressed, this load might be overkill. You could easily stick with more basic low-noise options and save some money. But for the quietest possible rimfire load that still delivers rock-solid performance, Suppressor Max stands out as a top-tier choice. Federal Hammer Down. For the lever-action purist, Federal has also made a splash in the 2025-22 long rifle market by extending its popular Hammer Down series into the rimfire category. And for you lever-action fans out there, this is one you'll definitely want to pay attention to. Feeding issues are a common headache with lever guns, often caused by awkward bullet profiles or cases that simply don't cycle smoothly up the feed ramp. Federal has tackled this issue head-on by using a 40-grain copper-plated hollow point paired with slick, nickel-plated brass. That nickel plating is the key here. It dramatically improves feeding in those traditional tubular magazines and adds a crucial layer of corrosion resistance, making these rounds perfectly suited for lever rifles like a Henry or a Marlin that might spend time out in the elements. This ammunition is tuned to run at around 1,200 feet per second, offering good expansion and a relatively flat trajectory, which is ideal for hunting small game at typical rimfire distances. While your bolt actions and semi-autos will run this load just fine, its real value is in how smoothly it cycles through a lever gun under speed. Another thoughtful touch from Federal is the packaging. These rounds come in 325 count boxes, which is perfect for high-volume weekend shooters or for stocking up before an extended hunt. While it does cost more than your average bulk .22, you're paying for cleaner feeding, consistent ignition, and better long-term reliability. Many experienced shooters swear by nickel-plated brass for their lever-action rifles, especially those with tubular magazines, because that smooth finish reduces drag and the likelihood of jams. If you're just plinking cans on a tight budget, there are certainly cheaper options available. But for anyone who demands smooth, reliable cycling in their lever gun and doesn't want to worry about malfunctions, the Hammer Down .22 long rifle is a very smart pick. Federal's decades-long track record for quality control only adds to the confidence behind this new rimfire option. Aguila Super Extra Hollow Point. The budget workhorse. Aguila has long been a favorite among shooters who are conscious of their budget, and their Super Extra Hollow Point is a big reason why. This round offers a 38-grain copper-plated hollow point that is both cost-effective and more than capable enough for dispatching small pests and varmints. The copper plating is a nice touch, as it helps reduce lead buildup in your barrel, which means less time spent scrubbing carbon and fouling after a long day at the range. Now, when it comes to performance, reliability can be a bit of a mixed bag depending on the specific firearm. Some semi-automatic rifles will run it flawlessly, while others might experience the occasional hiccup, like a failure to feed or a failure to eject. That's pretty typical with rimfire ammo, since many .22s can be notoriously picky about bullet shape, coatings, and chamber pressures. For example, your Ruger .22 Charger might eat these up without a single complaint, while a Smith & Wesson M and P1522 might be a bit more selective. It's always a smart move to test a box or two in your specific gun before you decide to stock up. In terms of accuracy, Super Extra usually falls into the good enough category. Don't expect to be shooting cloverleaf groups at 50 yards, but it's plenty accurate for backyard plinking, ringing steel targets, or dealing with nuisance animals at close range. Blowback pistols also tend to run this load well, which makes it a versatile option if you're looking for one round that can handle both your rifles and handguns. Interestingly, Aguila's ammunition has a very distinctive odor when fired, something that many shooters have come to associate with the brand in an almost nostalgic way. It's one of those little quirks that doesn't affect performance but definitely adds a bit of personality. For those of you who are watching your ammo budget, Super Extra Hollow Point is a reliable go-to. It's not going to win any accuracy competitions, but for everyday shooting, casual plinking, or light varmint work, it's a solid performer that won't break the bank. CCI Clean 22, Hypervelocity, Maximum Speed, Minimum Mess. You've probably seen CCI's Clean 22 series on the shelves, those vibrant, polymer-coated bullets that do a great job of cutting down on lead fouling. Well, the newest addition to that lineup, the Clean 22 Hypervelocity, cranks things up a notch with a blistering muzzle velocity of approximately 1,550 feet per second. That is seriously fast for a 22 long rifle, making it a fantastic option if you're looking for flatter trajectories or want to deliver more impact energy on small game. The projectile itself is a lightweight 31-grain bullet, which is lighter than standard loads, but it has been carefully engineered for smooth feeding and stable flight. If you've got a rifle or pistol that can handle that kind of speed, this round offers a noticeable edge in both performance and cleanliness. One of the biggest advantages of that polymer coating is the reduction in fouling, not just in the barrel, but in your suppressor as well. Some shooters have reported as much as 60 to 80% less lead and grime compared to shooting standard lead bullets. That means more time pulling the trigger and less time cleaning carbon and sludge out of your expensive gear. Hypervelocity ammunition can be a bit finicky in certain firearms, but CCI has a strong track record for reliable cycling in most semi-autos. The added velocity really flattens out your bullet's arc, which is especially useful for stretching your shots out to 50 or even 100 yards with more confidence. The trade-off? These rounds do cost more than your budget 22 long rifle options, but you're paying for that enhanced cleanliness and CCI's legendary consistency. If you're running a suppressor and want to keep it in better shape while still getting impressive velocity and accuracy, the Clean 22 Hypervelocity offers a very smart compromise. It's a standout choice for anyone running modern 22 long rifle platforms that are built to handle faster cycling and higher chamber pressures. Norma TAC 22. Subsonic, quiet accuracy. If your main priority is shooting quietly without giving up accuracy, Norma's TAC 22. Subsonic might be exactly what you're looking for. This round travels at about 1,070 feet per second, which is safely below the speed of sound, so you avoid that sharp supersonic crack you get from faster loads. It's loaded with a 40-grain hollow point that's ideal for discrete pest control or low-noise target shooting. When you pair this with a suppressor, the result is an impressively quiet report and smoother flight, thanks to the avoidance of transonic instability where the bullet crosses the sound barrier. Despite its slower velocity, the TAC 22 Subsonic still delivers plenty of punch for rabbits, squirrels, and similar-sized targets. It's a favorite for backyard plinking or quiet days at the range, especially when you want to keep things peaceful without sacrificing performance. Many shooters consider it one of the best subsonic options for suppressed rimfire rifles due to its consistent quality and reasonable price. It's not bargain bin cheap, but it sits right in that sweet spot of affordability and reliability. Norma is known for its tight manufacturing tolerances, and you'll definitely notice that quality in the uniform brass and precise bullet construction. Just keep in mind that subsonic rounds like these will drop more quickly over distance. If you're shooting beyond 50 or 75 yards, you'll need to account for that more arched trajectory. Still, for typical rimfire use 25 to 50 yards for quiet plinking or small game, the TAC 22 Subsonic performs exceptionally well. It's a dependable and cost-effective option for shooters who are looking to minimize noise without compromising on accuracy. Remington Standard Velocity. The dependable classic. Remington has been a staple in the rimfire scene for generations, and their Standard Velocity 22 long rifle offering remains a solid middle ground choice for shooters who want good performance without overspending. This load features a 40-grain lead round-nose bullet traveling at about 1,150 feet per second, which is right in that ideal range for accurate paper punching and small game duties. It's the kind of round that brings a bit of nostalgia for shooters who remember when those green and yellow Remington boxes filled every shelf at the local sporting goods store. Plenty of users have stacked this ammo up against more expensive brands in side-by-side comparisons, and have found that it either holds its own, or in some cases, even edges them out in the same rifle. As with any rimfire ammunition, your results can vary depending on your firearm's preferences, but if your gun happens to like it, you'll likely see some solid groups at 50 yards and even respectable results out at 100. That's not bad at all for an affordable round. It generally cycles well in both bolt-action and semi-auto platforms, with smooth feeding and clean ejection being the norm. Fouling is modest, which means you can get in a longer practice session before you have to break out the cleaning rod. By the time the bullet reaches 100 yards, it's still packing about 85 foot-pounds of energy, more than enough for recreational shooting or dealing with smaller varmints, provided your shot placement is solid. Remington packages this ammunition in convenient 100-round sleeves, which is great if you don't need a giant bulk pack, but still want a decent stash on hand. The price sits in that comfortable zone between dirt-cheap plinking rounds and high-end match ammunition, offering a nice value proposition for consistent, everyday shooting. If you're after dependable performance from a name that's been around the block more than a few times, it's worth tossing a box into your range bag to see how it performs in your setup. It may not be flashy, but it's consistent, accurate enough to keep things interesting, and priced to keep you shooting. And that wraps up our look at some of the latest and most noteworthy .22 long rifle ammunition options of the year. Whether you're after wallet-friendly hollow points, specialty rounds for your classic lever action, or blazing fast hypervelocity loads for peak performance, there's something new out there to perfectly match your shooting needs. Which one of these new rounds are you most excited to try out first? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. We'd love to hear what you think about this newest batch of rimfire tech. And as always, if you found this detailed breakdown helpful and informative, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more tactical content, and share it with your fellow shooters. Ring that bell icon so you never miss out on our latest video uploads. Stay safe out there, keep training, and we'll see you on the next one.